And we are live.
I am Maribel Hopgood. I'm the Communications and Media Officer for World Education Policy, and it is my honor to serve as your main anchor for today's event. Today, we bring together educators, policymakers, innovators, entrepreneurs, diplomats and researchers, and change makers from across the globe, united by one shared belief. Education remains the most powerful force for transforming lives, communities, and nations. Our summit theme is Reimagining Education for a Connected World. And our opening discussion today focuses on global community collaboration, the key to reimagining education. At a time when technology is rapidly transforming, our world and educational challenges continue to cross borders, and one thing is clear: no nation, institution, or organization can solve these challenges alone. Only together we can build the future. It is my pleasure to be here today. And as we begin this historic gathering, it is fitting that we hear from the leaders whose vision continues to guide world education policy and whose commitment to education, entrepreneurship, and social impact has inspired communities across the globe. She's the president and chairperson of World Education Policy. She's our chief education officer of the International Internship University, the chairperson of Mahila Udami Foundation, and a lifelong advocate for educational access, women's empowerment, and international collaboration. Through her work, she has helped connect educators, institutions, entrepreneurs, and change makers around the world with a common belief: education remains the most powerful tool for transformation. It is my great honor to welcome Dr. Virginia Rivera, the President and Chairperson of World Education Policy. Good morning, Dr. Virginia Rivera. It is a
Good morning.
pleasure to have you.
Good evening to all of you, our distinguished guests, our speakers, educators, policymakers, innovators, entrepreneurs, and friends from around the world. It is my great honor to privilege to welcome you to the first Web Global Summit this year. Today marks an important milestone, not only for world education policy, but for all those who believe that education remains the most powerful force for transforming lives, communities, and nations. We gather at a time when the world is changing faster than ever before. Artificial intelligence is reshaping industries, technology is transforming how we communicate with each other, and most importantly, global challenges are increasing everywhere, requiring global solutions. It's just not one group that's called to the table, it's all of us. Different industries, different perspectives, different creeds. We all need to sit at this table. Yet, despite all these advances that we hear, billions of learners, and I'm going to say 273 million learners around the world, still face barriers to quality education and opportunity. This reality calls us to think differently. We can't just congregate and have another conference for no reason. Today's conference is really a union of minds. I want us really to come together. And even if you think your idea, your solution is completely out of the box, let's bring it to the table. This is the moment to do it. But not only that, remember who is next to you speaking. Remember who went before. Write down the name of the people that really moved you, because I want you to reach out. I want this to become exactly that, a rebirth, a reimagining of education. And I can't think of anybody better than all of you that are here today. It calls for us to collaborate more intentionally, just not come and get a certificate and go back and put it on your wall. It calls to reimagine the education that we want to see for a connected world. The future of education will not be built by one nation. It will not be built by one institution or by one leader alone. It will be built through collaboration. And that is what today is about, global collaboration. That is why today we are with International Internship University and its founder, Advocate Piyush Pandit. And we're also with Global Festival 2026. The truth is that we need all this leadership. to get it off the ground. And you know what? Leaders come in all shapes and sizes. It's not the loudest that is the best leader. It's the most committed. It's the one that sees the vision. It's the one that says, I am going to do this. So this is why I really needed every single one of you here today. When educators, governments, institutions, businesses, researchers, innovators, and communities work together, we create possibilities that none of us alone could achieve. It is especially meaningful for me that organizations within our own Piyush group, where I'm the vice president, we're coming together for a conversation, but much more to actually get going. The International Internship University, Global Festival, World Education Policy, each have distinct missions and they have distinct audiences. Yet we share one common commitment to creating opportunities, expanding access, and empowering people through education. We believe education is the key. So today is not simply a conference, it's an invitation to think boldly, think outside the box, stop being a bystander, and be really bold. Challenge assumptions. If you don't agree with something, it's okay. Write it down, look it up, bring us a better solution. We want to build bridges across cultures and disciplines and to create partnerships that will shape the future for generations to come. So over the next 2 days, what you're going to see, what you're going to hear from leaders from multiple countries and from sectors, they're not all educators. I encourage you to listen with curiosity, like a child does. Share with generosity and engage with the spirit of collaboration that has brought us here together. On behalf of all of us, I extend my heartfelt gratitude on behalf of WEC. I want to say thank you to our speakers and our delegates. To every single one of our team members, thank you for saying yes. This is just the beginning, and I can't wait to see what's yet to come. Thank you for being part of this, and together I know that we can build a better future with education that's more accessible, more inclusive, more innovative, and more connected than ever. One world, one education vision. Together I know we can build a future. Thank you all. Thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, as always, Dr. Virginia Rivera, for that inspiring message and for reminding us that the future of education will be built through collaboration, shared vision, and collective action. It is now, and it's a very important moment for also today to have the opportunity to recognize a visionary leader whose commitment to education, innovation, and entrepreneurship and global development has helped bring together many of the initiatives represented here today. He is the founder of the International Internship University, founder of the World Education Policy, president of Piyush Group, and convener of Global Festival. His vision has connected thousands of educators, students, entrepreneurs, and leaders worldwide. Please join me in recognizing Advocate Piyush Pandit. And thank you, Advocate Pandit, for your leadership and commitment to creating opportunities that impact lives all around the world. And now we will continue with a very special guest. And that would be Her Excellency Srividhya Sukumar. She is an educational strategist and governance strategist. So it's an honor and a pleasure to have you. The virtual podium is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Maribel. Thank you so much. And thanks to each one of you who have joined me on this virtual podium. Especially special thanks to IIU and Dr. Virginia for having such a foresight and such a very futuristic vision of education. So that's why we call it as World Education Policy. And as we all know, that education is a passport to the future for those who start thinking about it today. And there we are on this, collectively on this virtual podium. Thank you so much. And as we all know, today's topic, reimagining education. When we say reimagining, that means it's a transformation that we're talking about. It's quite self-explanatory. That means shift from the focus of how do we learn, what we learn, why we learn, and what is the purpose of the learning. Thereby, what is the ultimate rationale is to create lifelong learning opportunities, as Dr. Mia was mentioning. I'm learning even today, which I am doing so. I'm sure each one of us will be doing in this fast-changing world, rather. So the industrial era model of unilateral, unifocal, classroom-bound, conventional way of education has changed. As we all know, though we agree, the future of the civilization is built in the walls of the classroom. The four walls of the classroom has become a predicament, but future of the classroom, future of the civilization is not going to be written in the four walls of the classroom. That has become the mandate for today. So with the how do we say with it's not static anymore, it's dynamic and it's borderless, and the learning ecosystem keeps on evolving. And of course, evolution is very good for everyone. So what do we do? We need to have a foresight, we need to have a vision, we need to create. It's not that somebody has created something and we are going to follow that kind of situation, that kind of learning system, that kind of learning ecosystem is changed. So we need to create. What we create, we need to collaborate. And what we collaborate, we need to communicate. What we communicate, we need to take it further to the community. Thereby, we are taking it for the global citizenship. Thereby, each and every one of us has a responsibility towards it. Hope everybody will agree with me. On that note, I definitely celebrate this moment of sharing this dive with you, as celebrate every single moment of your life. So as to evolve as self, the change has to happen within me first, and I take it forward to the community and then to the global scenario. Thereby, as we all know, I think all the speakers have mentioned all these points. That's what I've taken from them, basically from classrooms to the ecosystems of modern learning, breaking the physical structure, infrastructure, moving forward to flexible environments, anytime, anywhere learning using podcasts, AI, educational apps, virtual global expertise on the network, and raising, stimulating the curiosity over memorization, training learners to ask right questions, and rather by moving from teachers training and making them educators with the informational resources, prompt use of the informational resources with the collaborative learning method, and definitely, moving from exam-focused evaluation to project-based learning and assessment. But the rigid standardized curriculum to personalized way of learning for concentrating on the self-directed learning phenomenon of the students. And from the unilateral informational flow, we talk about interactive, collaborative, with the major use of the internet, which is quite available not only to the teachers for making the resources, but definitely to the students and also to the parents. So it's all quite vivid. So it's not just isolated subject separation, but systems with a cross-disciplinary, as Mr. Brian was mentioning. What he learned in the university was totally different from exactly when he went on to the work mode. So what is required? What are the skills I should acquire? So the students are being exposed to the way of internship, working in collaboration. So we are bridging the gap already from the academics to the work environment, definitely. With regenerative mindsets, character resilience, yes, ma'am was mentioning about resilience, with definitely on the upper hand, the global digital fluency, etc., etc., etc. So moving ahead, I'm a little different. That's why I was elaborating so much. These are not actually the problems. These are confined to the four walls of the classroom that we are thinking about. But here, for a connected world, we are thinking about education as an universal phenomenon. What is required? Is the education available to each one of them? We are talking about education which is already available, how to enhance it. Definitely, I do value, I do respect all your inferences, insights, definitely taken into account. But for a connected world, how to make this education available to each one of us, each one of our students, where we don't have internet. People are deprived of classrooms. That's what SDG 4 says. So on that note, please, as a global ambassador, allow me to present what is required to be done. And if possible, let's go beyond how it can be done. If time permits, we'll talk about that as well. Thank you so much. On that note, please allow me to share my screen. It's visible, I think. So what I would really like to call this one as SDG 4. SDG 4 is SDGs en route to quality education, the Silk Route to success. So this is, why do I call it a Silk Route? You know what is Silk Route? Where trading happened. In those days, when there was no meaning for trade was actually happening. And later on, it first started between two people, then two communities, then two countries. Now it has become export and imports. So that's why I would like to call this one as a Silk Route to success through quality education, which is available for all. As we now know, education is a cornerstone for sustainability development, which we need to think about aligning education practices with the United Nations Sustainable Developmental Goals, because people have thought about it earlier, and it's critical for creating more equitable and sustainable future. So what is the topic sentence? That is that the blueprint to achieve a better, more sustainable future for all by 2030. So what we need to ensure inclusive, equitable, quality education and promote lifelong opportunities for all. So all in the sense taking everybody into consideration. So as we all know, all these are state data from the different reports of UNESCO. So the recent data tells us while progress has been made, there are significant gaps that need to be addressed, definitely. For instance, this is what the key thing. From 2010 to 2019, the global primary and secondary school completion rates has increased only from 82% to 85%. As on today, it has not even moved to 86% as such, from 46% to 53% respectively. So despite there is improvement, half of the countries with the data has not reached the gender parity in primary school completion, indicating the present gender gap in the educational attainment. So, as we all know, what is the global education crisis is 773 million people are out of the classrooms. And the crisis around the world is still prevalent so, and which are the barriers to the quality education? What are the barriers to quality education? Quality of schools is deteriorating, definitely not up to the mark. High cost involved. Family resilience is deprived, so they are sent to work rather than going for education, and female exclusion. If these are the threats that we are going to think about, are we trying to bring the change in these aspects? And why focus on education? As we all know, education is the passport to future, and which is the most powerful weapon which could change the world. And if you're thinking about the change, in unison with us, definitely, it can be done through the education. So when we talk about right to education, that education is my birthright and no one should be deprived of it. From when we have been talking, this is the history says from 1948, 1960, 1966, 1979, 1986, 1989, 1990. All these are papers which have been published. The constitution has been already raised, 2010, etc. Are we there today? Till we are getting on there. The right to education is defined as a process and education reduces poverty. With this motto, the main rationale that we are trying to achieve is the decreasing social inequalities, empowering women, helping everyone to reach their full potential. It also brings significant economic returns for the country, helping societies to achieve long-lasting peace and sustainable development. And education is the key for achieving the human rights. So when we talk about the targets which have been set in this quality primary, secondary education for all, early childhood pre-primary education, equal access to TVET, that is vocational education and higher education, the bridging the gap between the academics and the corporate world, skills for decent work, that is the future skills works, gender equality and equal access for all, youth and adult literacy, sustainable development in the global citizenship, safe and inclusive learning environments, scholarships for higher education. So in that, the 7 targets have been mentioned and 3 means of implementation have also been mentioned there. So if we are looking for a framework for this action, what is to be done? So these are the data that is there already, ensuring how far we have reached and where we have reached. So we have been talking about it for many years, at least 12 years. So by 2030, this has to be done. This is what is the future that we are thinking about. The provision of tertiary education should be made progressively free in line with the existing internal agreements. So definitely the policy holders, the policy writers, are they thinking about it? Giving equal access to affordable, technical, vocational, higher education. So we always think that why this is very important. When we talk about education, when does it start? It starts from the primary, high school, higher secondary. Only after grade 12, you should think about your career. Correct. So why not we bring this pivot into the school frame? Bring the change in there. Who said, I'm not talking about, like students going for work. They can always go for internship. They can work on enhancing their skills, not after grade 12, not after higher secondary, where they are bound to, they're exposed to the outside world. They should start thinking about it in a much more earlier stage so that we can bring these reforms in the society. So it has to be expanded, the quality is extended with the knowledge, skills, and competencies for decent work and life. So education is no more a preparation for life. It is life itself. That's what we're thinking. That's what we are working for. So when we talk about specific skills that ought to be inculcated or imbibed or to be developed by the students, what are those skills which are to be developed? That's what we need to think about. So keeping it as one point of discussion, there is another threat which is going on about eliminating girls' education into the education system. This is, please, I really request each one of you, this is the truth. Many of the girls are out of the schools in many countries, and this is still prevalent. Are we thinking about this? Are we going to eradicate it? How to make it possible? And if at all we are thinking about these vulnerable countries, it is definitely not in vulnerable countries. It is prevalent in most predominant countries because there is no safety for girls as such. Thereby, it is not that education on the whole is thinking about universal literacy and numeracy for both men and women, but also having a very safe environment is very important. It's all connected. We cannot address them as as different compartments. They are all interrelated. And on the other hand, there's one more threat which is there, that being very healthy for attending, for going and learning. When children don't have their proper, nutrition, and they don't have food, and they don't have, they're not able to, think about, when do we think about education? When do we really care about growing? When we have a food to eat, when they are deprived of that, when they are in hunger, how will they think about going to school? And they will address these things. Are we thinking about addressing all these disparities which are there in the society? Thereby we provide a safe, non-violent, inclusive, effective learning environment for all, upgraded. If this has to be done, what is the actual problem? The problem is finance, especially who is going to fund these things. How can we come up with this? Why are the students not going for it? Are we going to come up with that? And are we working on the scholarship programs definitely to expand higher education scholarship for all the countries? Are we going to address them such that education is made open for everyone to learn? I'm not talking about certain countries like Africa, only those. It is there, it is prevalent there in each and every developing country, which is on the emerging stage. Exactly. So with most disadvantaged backgrounds. So thinking about that, now if these are the threats that we are thinking about, if these have been already provided, say that we have handled all those threats which are in the first cycle, then moving on to the inner core, what is the problem? Supply of qualified teachers. Teachers have to be trained. Many of the teachers, my country, India, they have been in this field of education for over 60 years they have been teaching. And if I'm going to say that AI is coming up, AI is ruling the world, now you change up your lesson plan, you change your resources, this has to be done by a podcast, this has to be done using a resource in the classroom. They're not willing to change. How do we really get them out of these problems? Are we working on these solutions? Are we thinking about addressing these problems? Can these problems can be achieved or addressed or even, help them? So, if we are going to think about it, when connecting quality education to other SDG targets, definitely it is related to the health well-being of the child, family, and the community, to the gender equality of being girls into the inclusive education, decent and sustainable growth with SDG 8, definitely having them for a decent work, for a decent pay, so that we don't involve them in child labor and other tasks as well, and responsible consumption and production such that everything is being met with with proper quality standards and of climatic change mitigation also have to be addressed as a right to education, building the knowledge and the capacity to meet the climatic change. So when these other SDGs are being related, how do we just come across with the challenges and the solution? Simple. Challenges that we have addressed so far is 103 million youth worldwide lack basic literacy skills. More than 60% of them are women because of women deprived going to school. How to address, promote education for all as a powerful tool and build a sustainable and resilient societies. So lack of access and access to basic services such as water, electricity, prevent children from especially girls going to school. So improve access with the basic services and free children time too so that they can go to school. And with the natural calamities and natural disasters, which are definitely not in okay, children's, in those countries, the school exists one day, then after some time the school doesn't exist there. That good resilience to ensure that children go to school all the time, including the extreme weather conditions. So aligning SDG 4 with a tailored blueprint with the current status. If these are the problems, do we have solutions for it? Or are we going to leave only with the problems? Definitely not. Let's work on the solutions now. Step 1. Assess the current situation in your country. Evaluate your education institutions, current policies and practices. Think about it, revamp it, try to work on it, and with the government level and the NGOs level so that we can definitely bring some change. Identify the areas where the improvements can be made in terms of inclusivity, quality, and equity for all. Gather data on school completion rates, gender parity, and other relevant metrics. This has to be done consistently at the government level. And set government clear objectives for defining specific measurable goals inspired by SDG 4 to guide the institution efforts so that we are reimagining and rewriting the constitution of the education system or the education landscape. So objectives could include increasing school completion rates, achieving gender parity, and improving access to disadvantaged groups. To develop an inclusive curriculum, definitely there is a success rate is high in this area because many schools have implemented that, ensuring that curriculum is culturally sensitive and gender inclusive, incorporate topics to promote sustainability, global citizenship and peace, and foster critical thinking and problem solving skills that children can apply to the real world challenges. Very simple way to do that is we all as educators, we create lesson plan. And the simple way to do is each and every topic that we teach in the classroom should have, this is related to SDG 1, SDG 2, SDG 3. So SDG is not a thing only for the educationists or for the speakers like us that we go and think about it, do research and come and speak in a podium or in a forum. Definitely not. Even the children who are learning that topic, okay, I'm learning about plants. It's related to plant life. So this is related to this SDG. SDG is what? Sustainable Developmental Goals. If we keep on thinking about it, definitely we will be there one or other day at the early stage. Let's start from the early stage so that we will move on there. So addressing gender parity, that is, To tackle the issue of gender parity in education, educators can implement the following strategies. Encourage girls' participation in STEM subjects by providing role models, creating inclusive learning environments, address socio-economic barriers and disproportionately affected girls such as lack of access due to menstrual hygiene and facilities. Definitely, India has become a lead in this area, and so that we can take country India as an example, definitely. Promote policies that support girls' education like scholarships and awareness campaigns to change the societal attitudes. Thereby not compromising or not leaving aside the embracing the technology and innovation, which is more considered as a threat to the society these days. But if you're going to take it in your hand and work on it at the early stage in a most premature way, we will be there someday. So with the risk of millions of learners not possibly returning to studies post-pandemic, embracing technology and innovation on the education is the most critical than ever. So leverage technology to support the SDGs or replace online platforms. That's why IIU has become a pioneer in doing this, and it has got the flagship, and it is a commendable work of IIU, who has really standing as the trailblazer forerunner for this online education systems. So that is to be really commended there to facilitate remote learning and minimize disruptions and implement adaptive learning technologies can personalize instruction to meet the needs of individual students and encourage developmental digital literacy to prepare students for rapidly changing world. And building partnerships for change. As Dr. Virginia has initiated this topic today, this really comes under this category. Building partnerships for change. As we all know, today we have gathered on this platform and it should not stop here. We should start working together in collaboration such that whatever we speak today will be implemented in action. Collaborate with government agencies, not-for-profit organizations, private sector partnerships to promote education initiatives, engage local communities to ensure that education programs are relevant and beneficial, share best practices and learn from others who are working towards the smaller goals. So these we have just reviewed and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all, exactly. And also implement adult education programs, provide opportunities for adults to return to education, acquire new skills and complete the formal education, encourage professional development, offer continuous professional development opportunities for teachers and develop community education initiatives and engage in community workshop, seminars, courses that cater to a broad range of interests. So integrating sustainability to education, definitely incorporating environmental stewardship, teach students about climatic change, conservation, sustainable practices through hands-on projects and community development, and promote social responsibility and teach financial literacy as well. Anything which is being done has to be measured. Without measuring anything, it will go futile. So what is being done should be measured, and the measuring data, statistics has to be shared. Thereby, we will be able to reflect upon them during the review and we can move on with the new interventions that are there. So track the process towards the goals, solicit feedback such that what went on well, what did not go well from each one of the stakeholders who is involved, so that everyone's voice is being heard, everyone's idea is being taken care as we are doing today on this forum. So fostering towards fostering the global citizenship, thereby educators can help the students to develop the global perspective, which is with an understanding of addressing the worldwide challenges. And with the cross-cultural exchange, definitely means accepting differences, working with collaboration with the differences, definitely. Not everyone is going to be same. Each one idea will be different. Each one perspective will be different. But we do accept them with a broader perspective and highlight global issues, address global issues. As I said, why should students think that when there is a global issue being there, they themselves can come up with a solution? They can come up with a solution. As educators, it's our duty to take it, to integrate it along with the curriculum so that we raise awareness and inspire students to think about the solution and model global citizenship, demonstrate global citizenship in the school policies and practice and how institutions can change. So scaling up the impact of the policy advocacy, thereby we, policymakers are there, definitely. They are with the government, but we can contribute to that with the local, national, the global scenario and support education campaigns with the leverage of research and data. So collaborating learning communities and working with the communities, whatever we speak, we walk the talk. We take it to the community, start working on that, partnering with the universities, research institutions and collaborate on research projects, explore innovative ways of improving education, aligning with the SDGs. In that, if I'm allowed, I can talk about the G20 international program that we conduct. That means students are given a chance to speak on global issues and they come and raise their voices such that their voices are being, sometimes if they have a good idea to present, they will be able to present it in the respective offices. So thereby, we are leveraging resources and funding. This is very important. What is the main area or the main rationale or objective of collaboration is that we should be able to help each other. Somebody may have an idea, but they may not have the resource, they may not have the funds. Somebody may have the funds, but they will not know exactly. So when you start working in collaboration, this can bridge the platform such that everyone will be working in collaboration and harmony, such that we will be able to make or visualize or bring the dream into the reality that we are thinking about. So aligning education with the United Nations Sustainable Goals with the multi-phase task requiring dedication, innovation, and collaboration. By understanding the current education landscape and the challenges it faces, set clear objectives, employing strategic methods to address them. As educators, we can create more equitable and sustainable futures for all the learners. And this effort not only contributes to the achievement of the SDG 4, but also supports the broader vision of UN SDGs for a better world by 2030. So thank you so much. As we all say, it starts from self. If at all we're thinking about change, it should start from me as Srividhya. I should be able to think about it as self, take it forward to your family, take it forward to the relationship, take it forward to the community, take it forward to your nation, and then to the global contribution. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Srividhya, for such an incredible explanation and for so much inspiration you shared with us today. The future is definitely bright. Thank you for laying out a framework for what is possible if we can all collaborate together. So once again, thanks for your time and your participation and all of our panelists today. I'd like to now invite our World Education Policy President and Chairperson, Dr. Virginia Rivera, to join us back in the virtual podium to share some reflections and some insights of what we've discussed and some of what open themes that we can continue to discuss in our future collaborations. Dr. Virginia Rivera, the virtual podium is all yours.
Thank you. Today was the first day of our 2-day World Education Policy Global Summit for 2026, and I could not be prouder. Today we were joined by members of our growing global leadership family, and I would like to mention them today, who have been helping us during this entire summit. Representing World Education Policy, we have Brian Odhiambo, our Web Ambassador for Kenya. We also had Sasha Kaluri. She's our WEP core team member from Australia. Our chief country officers that participated today was Dr. Maureen Mia from South Africa, Dr. Srividhya Sukumar from the United Arab Emirates, and Tio Akinola from Romania. Alongside outstanding leaders from the International Internship University, we have Hara Gandour, our Lebanon country director, Mona Sawan, who is also a trainer from Lebanon, and Salman Karim, who's a trainer from India. So thank you all for your amazing work today. I am very, very, very honored and very touched. Thank you. We were also joined by our Global Festival Director from the USA, which is Matthew Gilbert, and he participated brilliantly in our panel. And our exceptional host and moderator, Maribel Hopgood. She's our WEP Communications and Mediation Officer. So thank you for doing such an incredible job today hosting our event. Today's discussion focused on one powerful truth. I think I said it at the very beginning, and every single one of you reiterated this. The future of education will not be built by one nation, one institution, or one leader alone. It will be through collaboration, shared vision, and collective action. And when I say action, I mean action. Just like Dr. Srividhya was saying, we see, actually the SDGs were established and in 2030, it's our deadline, and we still see that the needle hasn't moved very much. It's up to us to really take action. So why is this conversation so important? And why did we dedicate a whole IIU Women's Economic Empowerment Series Masterclass space to be part of this summit? Because worldwide, and Dr. Srividhya said it, approximately 773 million adults still cannot read and write. Those are adults. If you think about the 273 million children that are not in school. But you know what's most important? Nearly 2/3 of these are women and girls. This is why this conversation is so important. More than 75% of these numbers live in South Asia, West Asia, and Sub-Saharan Africa. But please don't sleep thinking that America and Europe do not have these issues. They do. They do. And we would think that these are developed countries. But the truth is that this is an issue that is global. It's global. And as we continue to face more conflict, as we continue to face more climate change, situations, disasters, more and more it will affect. So this is why making sure that accessible and quality education is at everybody's fingertips is so important. This is why we say reimagine education for connected work. Wherever we are, if we have a device and a little bit of Wi-Fi, we can actually learn. So to me, this is very important. This is not a joke. This is an urgent call. These are things that don't make me sleep at night because I think of all the people that are not being educated. Behind every statistic, there's a human story, a mother unable to help her child with homework, a young person unable to access employment opportunities, a family disconnected from their people because they have no connection. Technology and economic mobility are key. And education is the pillar. Literacy is not simply an educational issue. It is a human rights issue. It's an economic issue. It's a developmental issue. And it's a global responsibility. What we witnessed today was more than a summit. It was a gathering of leaders committed to ensuring that education becomes a bridge, not just a statistic. The challenges are global. The solutions must be global as well. And this is why I've invited every single one of you here today. Tomorrow we continue this conversation. Tomorrow we continue building partnerships. Join us tomorrow again. Tomorrow we will definitely create solutions together. And tomorrow we continue proving that educators, policymakers, innovators, and communities unite around a common purpose because transformation becomes possible when we do that. Join us tomorrow at the same time, same place, because the future is not something we wait for. The future is something we build together. Thanks again for being with us here today. Thanks, Advocate Piyush Pandey, for creating platforms that allow us to build and to create. Thank you all for being with us, and I hope to see you all tomorrow here again.